I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have a quorum, 5 of 7. Absent tonight is Betsy Vanderploeg and Seth Hall. Additions, adjustments to the agenda. I think where we're going to be meeting through the summer, we need to nominate a vice chair. And did you want to add that, or we'll just?
No, not right now, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's Betsy.
Oh, Betsy's here?
Yes.
Okay. The quorum will be 6 of 7. Audience with the public, did anybody sign up to speak or anybody wish to speak? Negative.
Wait, we didn't consent agenda.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. We need to consent the agenda and approve the minutes of May 21st, 2026.
I moved. Seconds.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Passes 4-0-2. Now, audience with the public. Still nobody wishes to speak. So we will move to the action items. Take it away, Brian.
All right, good evening, board members. Welcome aboard, new guys. I feel like I've met you before.
You might have met, yeah.
So, as the students are home enjoying the summer, this is the time that we start heating up. A lot of projects. Things changed dramatically here about 9 days ago with the passing of Vaughn. I want to congratulate everybody on that, and I want to thank you for all of your effort and support on getting that through. So this will be the first of probably 3 or 4 very active summers, and I just wanted to give you kind of an update on where we stood as of today. As far as the biomass building goes, they are forming up for the footers. Today they're thinking probably pouring Monday, frost walls. Shortly after that, then they'll do all their groundwork and pour the floor, and then they'll start on the vertical construction. We're certainly behind. There's no question about that. Probably 30 days behind. I'm still being assured that we're not gonna have any problem meeting the timeline for heat, in the end of October, beginning of November time period when we typically go to heat. So I'm not seeing anything. We don't have any equipment that's not getting here. There's nothing back ordered. It was just kind of getting things ramped up and getting moving was the initial challenge.
Wherever you want to sit,
Come
Seth.
in.
This is Seth Hall for people that don't know who it is.
I'm Paul members.
Oh, hey, nice to meet you. How are you? Welcome aboard. Hey, well done.
Yes. Was the last year in 2016.
Yeah, so text go ahead.
Okay. I'm Brian Rice, I'm the Facilities and Transportation Director.
Great, thank you. Oh, sorry, guys.
Sorry, Brian, what was the reason for the 30 days you were saying?
I just think it was just slow getting out of the gate. We had a hiccup with the permitting, waiting on the state. Part of the permitting for the building permit was approval by the state that it was not an ancient burial ground of some sort. That took a little bit longer than we had initially anticipated. And then that being longer pushed out other things that had been scheduled, and so mainly concrete is the big one. Anybody who's in that industry, they stack their appointments up, and if you get out of sequence, you're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit, and that's what's happened. But hopefully we'll be able to catch up here and we'll have a good summer for it. Any questions on the biomass? All right. Asbestos remediation. So tomorrow is going to be a busy day. We've got the asbestos remediation team moving in. They will start in the cafeteria of the high school. It takes them about 3 days that they'll be setting up, basically tenting the whole area, and then they'll overpressurize it with one release point that'll go through several HEPA filters, and then it will be expelled from there. After that, they'll be doing the science and math wing, the English social studies, and then continuing down through. I did make one alteration to the asbestos remediation plan, and I shortened the scope for this year, basically stopping at the industrial arts wing, and which leaves us with the music room, the wing continuing down through, and the weight room. The reason being is that we were looking at probably a 21 August completion date that they would be out of the building. And we've got teachers rolling in what would be that next, basically the weekend, Monday, and then Tuesday, we'd have teachers arrived. And I thought that that was simply trying to thread too fine of a needle. And so we're gonna back off. That'll give us about an extra week, which will also give us an extra week for a little bit of time if there's anything flows over, but also just to get classrooms set up as much as possible. What I really don't want to do is at the first summer of a 3 summers worth of busy projects is start right off on a bad foot with the staff and everybody by running overtime and having the start of the school year kind of be a problem.
Now, Brian, the asbestos, it's the floor and the ventilation that we're hitting this summer?
It's the floor that we'll be
Just
doing,
the
so
floor.
it'll end up with about 75,000 square feet total that we'll be abating.
Casual.
We will probably get in the 65 to 70,000 square feet. We knew that the abatement company was gonna have to come back anyway because of built-in shelves, the science labs, the unit ventilators that are there. We won't be able to remediate that asbestos until those products come out.
Okay.
And I don't wanna start tearing out science labs at this point if we're not gonna, we'll just do it once we do the final, when we rehab those areas.
Okay.
Is what the plan is.
Cool.
Is the adhesive that the tiles are attached with also have asbestos base in it?
Yes, yeah.
So it's all getting ground down?
From what I've been told is that's the danger point, is that the mastic that they use,
Right.
that's the stuff that can be the problem. So they'll lift how it's being described, and I've never seen it done, so this will be a first for me as well. They peel off the tile and then they use basically a grinder. And that's where they really overpressurize to get everything down. And what we'll end up with is a garage floor, concrete, is
Okay.
what we'll have at the end.
And it'll be unsealed, just concrete?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And
Are
then-
they tenting off all of the walls in the classrooms and everything with plastic?
Yes, yeah.
And then will everything be getting wiped and
And
cleaned
then they do
thoroughly?
a full cleanup at the end as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
What is the long-term trajectory for the finish of the floors? Just polished concrete?
No, we looked at polished concrete as a possibility, but we'll go back over it with a tile. That will be determined, there's a couple of things on that one as far as what we'll end up going with, but it will be a tile. Probably not a VCT, not something that needs to be waxed, it'll be a waxless tile that holds up a little bit better, but doesn't need nearly the maintenance that the current tiles that we have
But that
require.
won't be done before school's open in September.
No,
It
that'd
will
be
not.
after.
Yeah,
Next summer.
It'll probably be 2 summers, 2 school years that we will have concrete floors. Because the last thing that we will do, probably next summer, we will be jackhammering all the hallways and then into some of the science labs to replace the sewer lines. For anybody who is unaware, so we've had Interstate Septic that ran cameras down sewer lines throughout the building from various access points. And what was once a 6-inch copper pipe is now down to about 3 inches of free flow. So as part of the remodeling of the high school, we're gonna be trying to replace as much of the sewer lines as possible. And then we'll replace the floor. I don't wanna put down the floor until we've got most of the remodeling done, just so that we're not staving up a new floor with with new ventilation and stuff like that.
Wise decision.
Every once in a while, I do okay. As part of that, along with the asbestos folks moving in tomorrow, we've got the moving company. It's a 10-person crew. We were very fortunate. I couldn't really lock anybody in until after the vote, and then once the vote happened and we were approved, then at that point, I started the scramble, found a great company, Pro Movers out of Waterville. And they will be here tomorrow with a 10-person crew. The goal is to get the math, science, and English social studies wing completely emptied, as long as a couple of the classrooms right up down that main hallway. And then from there, we'll hold off on some of the other classrooms further down. But I'm hoping, they've already come in and done an assessment, and they don't see any problem, that they won't be able to get that all done in a day. And fortunately, we do have a couple of classrooms in each wing that do not have asbestos tile, so we won't be needing to do remediation in that. So it's gonna be a lot shorter move, because we'll pack those classrooms full. Obviously, summer cleaning is gonna look very different this year than it has in the past. Won't be many scrubs and recoats of any surfaces like we normally do. We're gonna give everything a good cleaning, the best we can, and we're gonna go from there. And then we'll continue to try to improve on it on vacation weeks and things like that. But it's definitely, it'll be a work in progress for a couple of years, there's no question. And it's likely to look that way.
So will the building essentially be, will everybody be locked out of the building essentially, you know, theoretically during this entire remediation? And is there like, what are the, like, sort of ripple effect things that will happen because of that?
Great question. The answer, the short answer is no,
Okay,
but with caveats.
right,
People can be in the building when the asbestos remediation is going on. For instance, when they're doing the cafeteria, which would be the first one, people can be in other areas of the school. What they can't be is right immediately in the immediate area of the abatement going on. So once they get into the math science wing, that entire wing will be shut off throughout the duration of the remediation and then the cleaning. Same for the social studies and English wing and so on. But they can be in there under, it's gonna be fairly limited access.
yeah,
Ian and his team will be in there, and the administrators and some of their staff for the work that they have to do. We're hoping that the guidance can get the majority of their stuff done during that initial setup that we'll be doing before we actually get going on remediation. But we will have some traffic going in there, because we'll have the water treatment system that I'll talk about a little bit. That'll be happening this summer as well, while the remediation is taking place.
okay.
And there'll be some other stuff that'll be going on simultaneously to that. With the water treatment, so big part of the water treatment to make room for the system was removing the existing boilers, the heating boilers as well as the domestic hot water boiler. They started that process today. I expect that they will be done tomorrow, if not tomorrow, probably Monday. So that will be ready for the water treatment to begin. Once we're waiting on a state permit right now. Don't anticipate any issues, but probably middle of July is when we'll be getting that done, to adding the arsenic treatment into the system, and also adding in the extra 800 gallons worth of storage containers, which hopefully will end our problem with running out of water during high capacity times, plays, sporting events, things like that.
Following the installation of the new system, you're gonna have to test the water again and send it to the state?
Yes, that is correct, which is why we're pushing to get it installed as soon as possible in case there are any hiccups along the way. And it's kind of a lengthy process under the best of circumstances. So we would like to have a month and a half, certainly, to go through that process and make sure that we've got the water, that we're all ready to go for the opening day for consumption.
Great.
Can I ask an unrelated but related question?
Absolutely.
Whatever happened with the water at the middle school?
I
I feel like,
It was retested
and it was
and
fine?
it came back 0.
Okay, cool.
So we don't know
We
if,
talked about it last meeting, but I've never heard back. Okay, great.
if the line
Yep.
was contaminated, if the container that
Yep.
it put into was contaminated, but, both our water quality testing company as well as Jeff Twitchell, who runs the water treatment system, as soon as they saw those numbers, they both immediately said, there's just no way that it goes from 0 up to 300 parts. It's just unheard of.
Yeah, I assumed no news was good news, but
Yes.
you just reminded me. Cool.
Yeah, they were pleased to get back on the domestic water,
Yeah.
which is this has been a tough year for water for RSU 40, suffice it to say.
I have a question for you too, Brian.
Yeah.
When the front end of the building, secretary's area, the guidance offices gets reconfigured, is the asbestos remediation gonna happen there at that point in time, or is it gonna be done separately?
So the front office area, there is no remediation to be done.
Okay.
It's, if you go through the guidance office that you've been through, like if you were going out into the, gym area, there's that back door going out that way. There's a small hallway that will need to be remediated, and there's a couple of rooms off the back of the auditorium that need to be remediated, but the front office area will not. There is no remediation required.
Makes it easier.
Yeah, it sure does. Yes. Okay, any questions on anything that I've covered so far? All right, so those are the big ones. I've got two other topics to discuss with you. One of them you've heard from me, and the second one you have not, or some of you that have been here for a while, Julie has heard about this in the past, and perhaps a few others. If you go to the first slide, Miller Elementary School, as some of you know, we have had a problem with the septic line. As you look at the map, the two black dots represent collection basins, and the black line in between is the sewer line. The collection basin on the left-hand side of the picture, that has collapsed to some extent to the point where now the sewer line for about the first 10 feet is not going in the right direction, because, you know, poop runs downhill, but it does not run uphill. And so we've got a little bit of a challenge there. So we're gonna be replacing the septic. The collection basin is what we're hoping will be required. This came initially by word from Gordon Webster, who is the sewer and water commissioner for the town of Waldeboro. We had had several times where effluent had backed up and it was coming out the top and getting onto the parking lot there at Miller. And this most recent time that we had this winter, he said that he could make it official in writing if necessary, but he would like us to remedy that issue. For anybody who's been there, that parking lot is falling apart throughout that whole section. We had considered, what I was thinking about doing is while we're there, go ahead and take care of, since we're digging everything up anyway, is taking care of the parking lot and having that repaved as part of the process. I have met with one each company, excavation company and a paving company, to kind of get a rough order of magnitude, at least from those two companies. Obviously, we go out for additional bids. We're probably looking with paving, including paving that whole area that's outlined in red, at about $175,000, plus the repairs to the sewer lines. Rough order of magnitude. And
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
So, is this an unforeseen, issue? So do we like have 175,000 sitting around, or what, how do we?
Well, it's funny you mention that, because that is exactly what we're gonna be talking about. However, there was this very smart woman sitting down the road, down the table from me, who foresaw this some years ago and put in place some monies with your all's approval to deal with situations just like this.
Okay.
And so at the end of this conversation, at the end of this, I would like to have a conversation about accessing some of those funds.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Just following up on the two catchments, it would seem prudent to look at everything associated with this collapse, including the northern catch basin. Has that been done already?
We'll be taking a look at that entire system.
And we're prepared to do whatever is necessary?
And do whatever is necessary, that's correct. Yes. That was, the $175,000 would be basically, if we had to replace both catch basins, the sewer line in between, then regrade the parking lot and pave.
And the sewer goes to municipal on the Route 32?
So
Goes around the building?
if you go from the northern catch basin, and you take that on a diagonal right down through about the middle of the playground. And it comes right out and it connects in right on the, northeast corner of that playground is where it comes into the, did I do that right? Northeast, yeah, corner of that playground.
It doesn't run straight down the driveway to Route 32?
It does not, because that driveway wasn't there until about 5 years ago.
Oh.
That was, previously, that was a secondary, well, this is a recently added secondary,
Okay.
exit
Okay.
road.
Okay.
We did that with some COVID money to alleviate some of the parking and road problems that we had with backups onto,
Yep.
the Kaler's Corner Road, Route 32.
Okay.
Any questions on the Miller? All right, if you go to the next page, Warren Community School, anybody who is familiar with Warren Community School, we've been having an ongoing problem
Yep.
during the morning and afternoon drop-offs of parents being stacked out onto 131, sometimes as far down as to Route 90. And I have approached the state on a couple of occasions in the past about looking at some other alternatives. And a couple weeks ago, a gentleman from the local garage in Waldoboro came up and said, hey, we gotta figure out something, and he said, talk to this guy. And so I called this gentleman at the state, and within about 4 hours, he had had his inspector out there and came back and said, yes. Now, what he had said yes to was I was looking to utilize the entrance to the old school campus and then build an access road that would attach in, come in at the bottom parking lot that parents could utilize as an alternative pickup spot. The one direction only, buses would still continue to use the top parking lot, but I would anticipate that that would alleviate a big problem and would also eliminate great concerns that we've heard from the state DOT as well as the town and Knox County Sheriff's Office. So there has definitely been, and plenty of taxpayers in the area that drive up and down there that are.
Yeah.
I had someone bug me this week about it.
Yeah,
so-
there you go.
And I told him, I was like, it's on the agenda.
It's very dangerous.
It is very dangerous.
I have been over to observe it multiple times and it is not good. So
I
I
did-
highly recommend that you fix this.
I had to go through there with a trailer on the back of my car one day during pickup because I
Ugh.
didn't time it well and it was so scary. It
Yes.
was
It is
so
scary, especially with the corner.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, coming up around the corner.
So the scope of work would be, the red represents what would be a paved, we'd have to prepare it, gravel, and then pave over the top of it. The 3 circles represent trees that we would remove as part of the process.
So this, when we're looking at this picture, at this aerial, this like sort of ghost that's in the middle of the field is the old foundation of the old school?
That is correct.
Okay, got it, all right,
Yep.
So that's the previous entrance.
That is
And you're
correct.
just
got it.
cutting up the rest of the way.
Yes, that is correct.
You said one way, Brian?
Pardon me?
Only one way, you said?
One way, yes.
So they'll come in, pick up from this front entrance and then go out
And
this.
exit that
Okay.
lower parking lot entrance.
Okay, cool.
That- That is correct. So we've got a couple of options. So, as I mentioned, I think that the final goal would be to have a paved road there. After having met with, again, paving and excavation companies, or one of each, so that could change, once we put it out for bid. We're also looking at approximately $175,000 for that as well. Now, we could obviously start off with some gravel only, do a gravel road only, that reduces it down to a little over $100,000. And we can start, yes, sir.
Oh, I'll let you finish.
Oh, okay. Certainly, again, I think the ultimate goal would be for pavement, but that would be a very easy way to save a little bit of money this year and for not a major expenditure.
And see how it works.
And see how it works, and without being all in.
Yeah.
And the gravel road, we should be able to it would take several years before we'd have to put any significant maintenance into a new gravel road.
Yep,
So,
and winter maintenance shouldn't be an issue.
no, I don't think so. I've already talked to our plow guy.
Yeah.
And he seems okay with it. Obviously, we'd have to adjust the contract.
Right.
To allow for that. But right now, I actually just got off the email with the gentleman from the state. The only thing that we are discussing now is, as you see the current entrance, that is wider than what they prefer it, and they like to have an entrance exit at a 90-degree to the road. This one was about a 45-degree, the old entrance,
Oh, right.
which cars coming south would have a real problem.
Okay.
What I wanted to do was just enlarge the entrance going north up 31 to make
Yep.
that a 90-degree turn, but leave the entrance for vehicles traveling north at a full. And we're going back and forth on that. I don't know that it's a huge difference one way or the other. But that's certainly not a game stopper by any means.
Right, and that was my question, is anyone that's coming down toward Route 90, would it still be possible for those people to use the upper parking lot? So if I'm going, down toward the school, passing the ball field, could those people theoretically use the upper parking lot, and then everyone that's going from Route 90 take the way that, this new one-way road?
It seems like a lot of communication for the people getting kids in cars.
I think that we'll need to take a look at it. I mean, it'll
Right.
take some
Right.
looking at it. I mean, there's certainly an opportunity whereby that we could have classrooms on the top floor, could use the top parking lot, classrooms on the bottom could use the bottom floor. That would certainly be something to take a look and see how it goes. And I am hoping that bottom lane would be sufficient to hold the entire, a full load, daily load of parents.
And my concern is just turning into that road.
But, again,
The
it's certainly gonna
logistics
alleviate a lot of problems.
of straightening this out, because the school is set up on two different levels.
Yes,
Right, so if you've got kids up on the upper level and their parents come into the lower parking lot and so on, right? So there's
yes.
figuring that out.
There
navigating
would
that
be
piece
some, controls in the schools, but I will tell you that Julie is here, so I'll use Miller as an example, is that she has students going from one end of her school to the other end, for a drop off and for pickup and such, so for the buses and things like that, so. It is definitely gonna be a management challenge, and it would be getting everybody accustomed to how it works, but I think like everything, after you do it for a week, it'll become old hat.
Yep.
So, with those being stated, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Seth, you raised your hand.
I was just curious, I haven't been on this board for 8 years, since 2018. And we didn't used to have anything like this problem. What's the genesis, as you all understand it, for this much heavier parent drop-off and pickup? Is the school bus system not working as well as it?
That's a great question.
It
It's
started
COVID.
during COVID and
COVID.
parents got used to it and just never
Yeah.
went back to
So
using
parents
the
are
bus.
driving their kids almost double
Yeah.
what they used to.
Yeah, since
It's a
COVID.
weird thing since
And
COVID.
how do we address that, just in general, systemically?
It's not just here, so even in my previous district, we had a similar problem where they got into the habit of driving kids to school, and the buses are available, but they aren't using them like they used to, and it's a great question. I don't know the answer to it. I mean, we keep telling them the buses are free and they're available, and they still choose to drop them off. It's fascinating sociologically to think about, like, for me as a parent, I don't know, Junior went on the bus, it was just a lot easier for us, but,
So how underutilized are the buses right now?
well, that's a great question.
In that same time frame, we have reduced, I wanna say, we removed 4 bus runs.
Out of,
What do we have now, Brian?
We have 4 buses running
Now, how many bus runs do we have, not counting the 2 littles?
total, I'm not sure I understand your question.
For the district.
Total bus
14.
runs.
We have
Oh, total
14
buses that are
now.
running? I'm sorry.
we used to have 18.
Yeah, so we used to have 2 in Friendship.
Really
we used to have-
noticeable.
Yeah, we used to have 5 in Warren, 5 in Waldeboro, 3 in Union. So we started reducing them.
And we can infer, I suppose, the bus utilization per bus is also noticeably down.
Yeah, so in Warren, we actually, just this past year, the principal and assistant principal surveyed parents, because we've had an open bus run, a position open for, 3 years, 4 years, probably our entire tenure here. And the parents said even if we added that bus, they had no plans on putting their children back on the bus.
Which works in our favor, not being able to find bus drivers.
Right, exactly, that's what I was.
Yeah, that's the
It
other
really
issue, is finding bus
does.
drivers.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Yeah, I guess, okay.
So, I don't know what percentage, do you have a feel for what percentage at your school, Julia?
I'd say, we have one bus that's packed full, 3 to a seat all the way back. We have one bus that has a pretty light load, but the problem is because of where they go,
The distance,
it would
yeah.
add just too much time for young kids to be on the bus. We have kids who are on the bus for an hour.
Do you think you have like 30% of your kids
Our bus rides are an hour.
Pick up,
pick up?
it depends on the day. On Friday afternoon, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great question, and it's complicated by the layout of the district, that some buses are lighter than others. Just as Julia just said, it would make sense to try to move some of the kids to the other bus. But the problem is that the amount of time that they'd be on the bus goes up a lot, just with a subtle change. Brian has schooled me some about the complexities of it, but it really is, it's a really difficult job to figure out these bus routes, to maximize efficiency.
AI.
AI.
Perfect sense.
That'd be a
Well, we
great
got software
thing.
for that now, so.
Yeah, he's working on some great software solutions.
I just hate to think of kids sitting on a bus for an hour.
Yeah, I know.
As a board member of MCST, as someone who may know, we used to spend half a day on a bus, it seemed like, until we redid the curriculum and schedule,
Yes.
which made an unbelievable difference to the students.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
All right,
I have one question.
yes, ma'am.
So back to the gravel road. I mean, there's so many different kinds of gravel out there. There's reclaim, will you be looking at all the different
It would be a straight gravel.
straight gravel?
Yeah, it would be, you start building up with, and it would be topped with a 1-inch gravel that would also be receptive. It would be a similar topping that would be wanted when we finally pave it.
And that's plowable?
It is.
It gets compacted,
Yeah.
it's not just loose,
Mhm.
go compacted.
Tim, this is out of my wheelhouse, but can I just ask, I have a question. How much more would it be to just pave it now?
Yeah, that's all
And why wouldn't we just try to do that if we can? I don't know if we can.
Just said, the variance in prices between 100 to 175,000 between gravel and paving.
Okay.
So again, just to see the effectiveness of it
Yeah, it's a
before we
test
fully
year.
commit to something that doesn't work.
Okay, so you're good with that? Like, you feel
I
like that's
think
a
it's
good way
a
to
fine
go?
idea.
Okay.
As long as you can, like you said, pave right, sort of like it's already something that would maybe be under, right, prepped anyway.
Yeah, we'd wanna go over it with a York rake or something and just smooth everything up and compact it before we did paving. But we could,
I don't know, our gravel road has potholes and we have so many problems with gravel roads I'm just saying, my experience, especially in the winter, and then it rains really hard, you get these huge potholes and.
That, potholes and the washboard effect happens because people are driving too fast, though.
Exactly.
So when you're going slow, this is
Yeah,
a
so
school
it's just
zone,
gonna
you're
be
going.
such a slow, yeah.
Right.
I don't know, I totally, there's the pros and cons of waiting and then, going ahead and paving it, but.
And so I don't know, because you probably talked to state, but maybe there is some money that we can get into it, because it is a state road, so the only other alternative, if they wanted to, free up some space, would be to make a turn lane, which again, the state would have to, build that if they want to make a turn lane. So we're kind of like giving them the option of, okay, well, we're willing to do this if you guys chip in some money to pay for that. So we may be able to, wiggle the state a little bit on that.
understood. Any other questions?
I have a
So-
quick one.
Oh.
Would it make any sense to follow some of this pavement that's already there?
We would be following it, unfortunately, it would need to be torn up and,
I'm just thinking, there's this road, the road to nowhere, they call it,
Yeah.
that comes down, in front of the playground.
yes.
I'm just wondering if we just swerve it around in front of the tree, I'm just thinking,
bringing that
Bring
tying
that
into
road,
that,
yeah.
into that paved road that comes down over towards the garden.
Yeah, and
By the
then,
pavilion.
and then turn it right into the pavement that's there where the school was before.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
I
Just an
mean,
idea.
I'm certainly happy to take a look at that. There's no problem with that. I was trying to go as direct route as
Right.
possible.
As the crow flies.
Yes, as the crow flies.
It might not
That
need
would
as much
also
work.
have a buffering capacity.
Yeah.
You get a free 25% buffering capacity,
Yeah.
Slow people down.
which would be good. And it would take care of your 90-degree entry. It would leave that big field open and uncommitted.
Yes.
We're gonna build a bus barn there.
We were talking about that, back in the day,
Yeah.
when we were gonna move the bus people from Route 1 to
Clearly
there.
we
That was
did.
gonna be it, yeah.
Yeah.
But we had it plowed this winter and they used it during their winter concerts and stuff.
Oh, for parking, yeah.
Yeah, for parking,
That
yeah.
whole lower area, we had it plowed right off. Any further questions on that? So, 2 years ago now, boss, that it was, the board voted to move $1 million from the fund balance into a reserve fund for facilities. That $1 million is still largely intact, boss, would that be an accurate
It is.
assessment?
It is, yes.
So there are monies there that are available. I believe that the mechanism for that is just the board vote
Correct.
for that, to release those funds. So what I am coming to you with is a multi-part question is, one, are both of these projects something that we want to continue to pursue? If the Warren project specifically, do we want to pursue with gravel or with pavement?
Gravel seems like everybody feels comfortable with doing that as like the first step, and if that's gonna be work that we're gonna have to do anyways.
Not on this committee, but, I would say if it's something that we're committing to doing with gravel, that we should pave it, because you're looking at adding costs to get that freshened up before you pave it, and everything's more expensive than it is today, so that's my 2 cents about being on this committee.
I sort of concur with that, especially if the money's there, just go ahead and do it, but that's just,
My only contention with it is if we do it and then we find it's not effective and we just spent $175,000 of taxpayers' money on something that we're not going to use.
But how can funded them for something?
I'm sorry?
I said you're already gonna spend $100,000 of taxpayer money, so if you're, I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't work. Like, what are the reasons that this wouldn't work, and we would move it?
if parents don't comply, but I think, for child safety, parents need to comply to the, I mean, so
Well,
how could you not comply?
Sorry, but compliance isn't, the way I would handle that is that's a management issue.
Yeah.
If we have the road, and I agree
I
with
mean, the
Leah,
kids aren't gonna be there, right? Like,
Yeah, I
you
think-
drive up there, your kid's down here.
I'm fine with, obviously it's your decision, I'm not even, but here I am weighing in because I've seen this. It's bad. And so there's a yin and a yang to just paying for it and getting it done up front and versus testing it. I think that I just don't want you to make a decision based on management. The expectation is this is the way students will be dropped off. And if you don't pull in that way, you have to go back around and you can't drop them off. Justin just has to say no, right? And manage it. And the management is, an expectation of the leadership, and we just have a conversation with him to be clear that this is the way it's going to be, and he'll be fine.
Right.
And the key is don't bend. You can't say to one family, it's okay to drop them off here.
Ian hasn't.
You have to hold the line for the first few weeks and then it becomes a habit.
My concern, my question is it the bus traffic holding the parents from moving forward into the parking lot? Would it be easier to navigate that as a bus loop on the lower level and have parent flow the way it normally is in terms of compliance?
Parents do it, are the first ones to drop off and
Yeah.
pick up at the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Great question.
that is currently being used and it's failing.
Yeah, and Ian, the layout, the bus, it makes a lot more sense from a practical perspective to have the buses come in front of the school up top and have the parents drop off down below. It's a really good plan. I actually hadn't talked to Brian about this until tonight, so I just want you to know that I think it's a really good plan. And the execution of it is mostly just in the management of having done this before. It's just saying to people, this is what we're doing and holding the line.
Right now, it's parents are holding up the buses.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The buses actually stay off campus for
Until like
15 minutes or
3:30.
so.
And then, so they're waiting even longer to get home at night. Yeah.
So with part of this is, are we just building a secondary driveway, or is there like a shoulder to it, or how does that work?
It'll be, what I got the quote for, the initial scope would be a 20-foot wide gravel with probably an 18-foot paved road with edges, with extensions going down. That would be gravel, which basically allows the plow truck just to get the wing well off so the whole road's plowed.
Yeah, I mean, my thought on this is, just to echo what's already been said, I mean, it comes down to, this is what the expectation's gonna be, this is where the kids get picked up. If we're gonna do it and for whatever reason it doesn't work, I mean, regardless, the taxpayers are gonna complain that money's been wasted on it, so whether or not it's 100 or 175 seems a little bit mute to me. I just as well would do it all, as what Leah said, do it all together at once, because we don't know how much the cost would increase a couple years down the line if we didn't do the paving now with what the price is right now, but that's just my opinion on it.
And I should have clarified a little bit more. So every summer out of my own budget, I do a bunch of projects. Last year it was a little over $100,000. And what I was thinking, if we could potentially roll the paving, I could cover that in my regular budget. I would just shrink the other smaller projects that I do for a year to put that in there if we want to save that $1 million, or at least a portion of it, the reserve fund, and hold that in place.
And most of the traffic comes that way anyway, so if you're going toward Route 90, there is no backup traffic going that way. It's everyone coming up that hill anyway. So
That's a fact.
I think doing it that way, I don't think there'd be much resistance to that. People are gonna naturally go that way anyways.
I'm curious, returning for a minute to what was it called, the road to nowhere?
Yeah.
And making an L-shaped drive instead of cutting across that nice unrestricted field, and possibly saving 2 trees, which would be nice. The timing for the project and maybe further consideration by this committee or whoever needs to do it. What is the timing for the project? Is it next summer it's gonna happen? This summer?
I would execute it this summer.
This summer?
Yes.
So, is there any interest on the part of the board to talk about a L shape using the old road, even though the road has to be?
Well, that's exactly why I'm bringing it to the facility subcommittee, is just to talk this over. This is really the first that I have talked about this particular project, because I had never had the state wouldn't play ball up until a couple of weeks ago, as far as allowing us to access that use that lower entrance.
Oh, it's a state highway.
Yeah, the state road, 131 state road,
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
If we were to use the road to nowhere, I would say the couple advantageous things of doing that is it allows more vehicles to be off of 131. You've got the car lengths of that entirety instead of just going a straight line, which I appreciate what you did doing the straight line certainly, but it would afford more vehicles to be off of 131. So I'm game for entertaining that if you all want to.
It certainly
entertain that.
would. There is a pretty good swale that goes down right off the end of the paved, the old grounds.
Right.
And that road that goes through there, which we could certainly overcome with a culvert. I mean, they do it every day. We start getting into a wetter area down in that area.
Yeah.
And anytime that we're building roads, and obviously, again, you can compensate for all of that with ditching, there's all types of things that you can do. Road mats, underneath the road to help so that you don't get that sort of thing. So there are some things. Yes, ma'am.
Just looking at the width of that, I mean, it looks like you're going to have to, it's not like you're just gonna be able to use that. You're gonna have to take it all out and widen it. And you're not gonna want an actual L, right? Because you don't wanna have.
We'd have to sweep into it to some extent, yes. probably widen, at some point, we'd flare that out, to where we were coming into it for people to make that corner up around. I will tell you, when you go out there and you walk that ground and you take a look at what that's gonna look like, there would be considerable extra work on the road to nowhere. On the south side of that, that's a pretty good drop off right there. And so there would be some fill, we'd have to haul in some fill just to make that. Frankly, I was trying to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
And that's fine too.
Yeah,
That's what all I was thinking was maybe it would be simpler, but if it's not, then I'm not worried about it.
The more turns is the more
Is there-
opportunity for people to run off the road. And,
Is there a pretty substantial grade difference though from this parking lot? Just with the picture that you've drawn out of that parking lot down?
from the lower parking lot down, oh, absolutely, there's probably, 60 feet elevation drop, maybe not quite that much, 50 feet, but yes, it's a significant elevation, change.
Yeah, we need to go.
I mean, I think this is a great first draft. I see exactly what you're trying to do by using the existing infrastructure. I mean, what do we have to do to say, yeah, Brian, this is a good idea?
And, just so you know, there were some graphic artist companies, after seeing this, they were looking to recruit me away, all right?
You're speaking my language here, Brian, is all I'm
I
saying.
mean, I'm just saying, all right?
This all
you
makes
get a-
perfect sense.
I may have to find a new facilities director.
Yes, exactly.
We'll still have to go out to bid, so you'll have to approve
Yeah.
those.
I've got your logo, Race Designs, we get it done first.
Yeah.
I have a question, to Seth's point, does anybody use this like field for anything? I don't ever really see anybody use.
The mowing company
Okay, great,
uses it
Okay.
for mowing.
yeah,
For constant.
As I said, we have used it, this past winter was the first time that I plowed that
yeah,
for parents to park in.
Yep.
And it worked great.
Okay.
With that being said, this has been the first winter where we had a good solid freeze, where you could get up in there and you
Yep.
could actually plow it.
yep,
You know, the last few years, we have not had sufficient ground frost to really start plowing grassy paved areas. I would have done more damage
okay.
in the last few years than I would have done good.
And then I've got, sorry, one more question, sorry, Billy. Which is there, okay, thinking about like how much money, well, I guess before that, does it make any sense as far as to Rick's point about like, if we just did gravel now, that we could maybe hound the state for money, and is there like, does it seem like that's actually something that could happen, where we could maybe get them to give us the 75 grand later, or?
I think for sure, the one thing that I can get out of the state
Yeah.
is we're gonna have to move the school zone light. And I could likely get a new set of school zone lights, which are the solar upgradable,
Yeah.
programmable, much better product.
Yeah,
Similar to the ones that we have right out here
Yep.
on Route 17.
Yep.
That much I'm confident that the state
It is our
would
deal.
provide.
More than
Getting
that.
other
Do we just need to
stuff,
spend it?
I'm certainly gonna try. That I can absolutely assure you.
absolutely,
I think that the foreman of the state garage in Waldeboro, he's certainly concerned with that road. And I don't know if he put in a good word for that, where it got approved so quickly. But, I mean, we went from having nobody, just a hard no, to a 4-hour later yes.
Okay.
So,
If this is something you're looking to execute this summer,
it
then we need
is,
to just move on it and not get bogged down with the bureaucracy of
right,
trying to get money
Yes.
out of the state.
absolutely, yeah,
And if they later give us some back, cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
I would also just say, I totally see both sides, like, I absolutely believe in the concept gravel road, and also, yeah, I guess to me, like, if it's $100,000 and $175,000, to me, I would also just probably pave it, because I think parents are gonna be very happy that there's a better way to do this, and so I don't really have any concerns around the usage of it. And I guess worst case scenario, you can still use it, even if it doesn't work for the intended purpose, maybe there's another way we can utilize that road, so I would also probably at this point say that I would not stand in the way of like an asphalt decision, I think that's also a good idea.
Okay, I just, wanna give kudos out to Brian. I cannot believe what is on his plate.
I know, right?
I mean, I'm overwhelmed listening to it, so I just can't, kudos to you and all you're doing at all these schools, and you're doing an amazing job.
Well,
Thank you
so,
for,
I very much appreciate that. I've said it before and I will say it again. I have a tremendous team, one of which is sitting right over here, Sarah Davis, who, is in early, is out late, takes my calls whenever I want, and has an incredible ability to, interpret what is probably typically some pretty rough guidance, and she turns that into exactly what I want. So, yeah, I'm very fortunate to have Sarah, and I thank the board for approving that position, every day.
Finn had you first, I'm sorry.
So just to make sure I'm understanding what we're ultimately gonna be deciding here, are we just approving you to execute on this plan in a way that's gonna make the most sense, or specifically
We're recommending.
that plan, or that, the board rather?
What I would ask the board is to give me approval to move forward on both, to go through the bid process, and then come back to the board for an approval at a later date. At the next board meeting, I would be able to get that done. I think that's what we're looking for, unless somebody wants to, I'm certainly open to any suggestions for better verbiage.
I think it's important to have the vote be a motion to approve Brian to do the bid process for either gravel or paving, so that, because it will change.
Yeah.
I just don't know that maybe he could do both, I defer to him.
Yeah.
I just think it's important to be clear.
I was gonna make a motion. I was gonna say that, I was gonna make a motion that we recommend to the board to approve moving forward on these two projects and expending from the capital improvement fund,
Second.
The reserve funds.
the reserve fund.
Can I ask, do we need a number? Do we need a specific number attached to that? Sharon, do you know?
The board can probably pick the
We
number.
won't know the number until we have the
Right.
result.
Okay.
We're authorizing you to get.
Just to move
Yeah.
forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
I don't like going out for bids unless especially when we're talking about this type of a scope.
Yep.
Going out to companies and asking them to give me a bid if I'm not fairly confident they were going forward, showing good faith to the
Yeah.
companies.
okay. So it's been moved and seconded, you seconded, yeah?
Tim, Danny has a question.
Yes, sir.
Maybe this is just me being picky, but I think you would want in the motion what those two projects are.
Yeah, so I wrote
Because
motion
you,
to recommend.
Julie just said these two projects, and we
Yeah,
could
correct.
say, what two projects?
So I put motion to recommend to the board to move forward with Warren Road project and Miller Sewer Line project. Or access road, not the road, how about the road to nowhere?
I love that name, that's fun. It's like a Led Zeppelin record or something, The Road to Nowhere.
Sewer line parking lot.
Thanks, Danny.
Good. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? 7-0.
Thank you.
I will get some numbers for the subcommittee, the next time that we meet.
Brian, I
Thank you
think it's
very much.
important when you do this that if you don't stop by and see the Warren Select Board, at least send them an email saying that I think it's important for the relationship for the district to the boards in the town. When we met with them in November, they asked us about this issue. I told them that I would go and look at it, and now Brian's come up with a solution. I think it's important to circle back because it shows that we're listening when we talk to people and that we value the relationship.
Well, both times we saw them, they mentioned this project.
Yes, no, and they've been great about it,
And I've talked to them about it in the past as well, so I already emailed the town manager.
Oh, awesome, thank you.
I was
Yeah,
like, if you
I just
haven't
wanna
heard yet, this is
We've
on
got
the
a lot of
agenda.
positive momentum with this bond with the towns. Keep it. It was hard to build, right? And the best thing you can do is just talk and listen.
I have a question on the timing of this now. Our next meeting isn't until July 16th.
No,
July
July
fir-
2nd.
July 2nd.
No, board meeting.
Yeah,
but-
July 2nd,
So we'll do it on that, not the next facilities meeting. That's what I'm clarifying.
right.
Yeah, now
It has to
we'll
go to the board.
to the next board meeting.
Yes. We
So
will.
you'll have all the estimates
I will
by
have
the July 2nd? That's what I'm, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what because if we want to keep this moving, so the board will vote on this at the July 2nd meeting. Okay.
Did you second?
As long as the subcommittee is okay with going directly to the board on the next
Yes.
presentation.
Yes.
That's what I would prefer. I'd like to, if we're gonna do this, I'd like to get it going sooner rather than later.
Absolutely, that's what I was trying to understand, the timing part of those.
Do you have anything else on your other items?
Pending questions, that completes my presentation tonight.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Brian. We appreciate you very much. So we need to elect a vice chair for facilities to get us through the summer session.
Well,
So
you'll be doing that next month anyway, because we have to do a new chair. On the July 2nd meeting, we vote for a new chair and vice chair, and we do the committees all over again anyway, so.
so this is it? This is our last one at this setup?
For,
Yes.
yeah, theoretically, yeah.
Yes, we will.
Okay. I thought we had another one in July.
No,
Yeah, but
Okay.
after.
Just so you know, this is where all the cool people hang out. This is right here. All right, especially over the next couple of years.
Well, scratch it then. Does
Keep telling
anybody else?
yourself that, Brian.
Yeah, that's right, boss, thank you.
We'll do that, yeah, next.
So are we signing up for committees tonight then?
no,
No.
July 2nd.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, great. Does anybody else have anything else that they would like to add? All right, it is 6:27, we are adjourned.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks.